Hey sweeties, it's me, Kat. I hope you had a lovely day. Welcome back to Doki Doki Literature Club. I already feel the anxiety welling up inside of me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey Kat, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? That's right, Sayori and I never walk home together anymore because she's always staying after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! With that, the two of us departed the club room and made our way home. The whole way, my mind wandered back and forth between the four girls. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monika. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Alright. I just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favourite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. We want Yuri. Massacre? Yes. I hope we got more of her than anyone else. Hi again, Kat. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Kat. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you, making the dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. It's true, I didn't. And last year too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monika and manga. Manga is literature. She's such an angry girl. Bless her heart. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Kat always gives it his best, as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking, like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy it's distracting. And you almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. How come you and Kat can become good friends too? Sayori. As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she's just put me in. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know. But wait, Sayori. Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it really isn't. What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue the situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So, any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, I won't make a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright. Well, here. I wonder what it is. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you want. Oh, she's such a shy girl. Look at her. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? Because she's adorable, that's how. She even picked out a book she thinks I like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you, I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expect Monica to kick off the scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense impression, like she's waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Netsuki is rummaging around the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in our book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was forced, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you given me, right? I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Ah, well, I stopped at the bookstore yesterday. That's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. Ah, I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once I start to pick up a book, you might have heard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about anyway? Well... Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Portrait of Markovic. I'm gonna call him Mark. Portrait of Mark. There is an ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright, I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about a girl in high school who moves in with her long lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationship, and her life starts to fall apart. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yori makes it sound as if it was going to be a nice story, so the dark turn came out of nowhere. I like those type of stories though, they're good stories. They're amazing stories, I like them. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of those sort of things, Kat? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kind of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri was into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kind of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new point of view, where when horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goal or their own philosophy that they believe in. Suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they made out to be the naive one for letting their one-side morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologise. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago, you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had just put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into a seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That's it. Reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start looking at the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about the reading is in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not particularly a bad thing, maybe a little distracting, but The feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realise that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just... Yuri, you really apologise a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here. This should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri, then hold my book more between the two of us. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult for me to turn the page. Here. Oh, look at her. She's so cute and pretty. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and her forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides under her thumb. It flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. Well, obviously, look how beautiful she is. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page? Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over Yuri's face again and our eyes met. So cute. I love it. Oh, look at her. She's literally looking at me. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do. Oh, look at her little smile. Since you've been patient with me. Yeah. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asking me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she's finished the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways. But she also second guesses all of the things that she says and does. Like, she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of the mannerisms, of your mannerisms. I see. Look how cute she is. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But Kat, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think like that. But wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Oh, she's all blushy. Look at her little blushes. She's so cute. Okay, everyone. Oh, she jumped. Oh, little girl. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales. Yuri exhales, sparing from finishing her thoughts. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not that. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer if I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It will be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reason then. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it into my bag. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done anything like this before. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share it with? I can't wait. Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I don't know the difference in that. All I know is one is wrinkled and the other one isn't. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to? Yuri. Yuri seems the most experienced, so I'll do it with her. I can trust her opinion to be fair. Look at my little... As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. Oh, she's so shy. She's such a shy little girl. Look at her, she's so cute. I love her. Yeah. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time. Really? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah. Okay. This is the reason I wasn't able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers, and having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognise in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form fit with the two together. The end result is that both of the styles and the expressionitive are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanour totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them, but building them. But getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologising to herself, or to me, or to Natsuko, or Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if it's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But you took a long time to read it. Ah, well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easily to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Uh-huh. No. Huh? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Kat. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember, the poems often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experience in the world. Well, 1 minute she says that we're reading too slow, and now she's saying that we read too fast. Ugh, make up your mind, girl. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolic compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more Solomon put in it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing really. Yours was impressive too. Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all of this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best, Kat. Me too. Yay. Now we will go to Monica. Hi, Kat. Having a good time so far? Yes. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or anything we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I'll have to. Don't worry, Kat. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know. But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to pass soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. Great job, Kat. I was going, ooh, in my head while I was reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know, it's Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes to use simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness, Yuri likes it when readers are left to drive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feeling it, or letting them deeply analyse all of the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near at her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You're doing your own thing. Just keep exploring and learning by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I love seeing you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased towards their own kind of style, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write in the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims they're not very good. Well, that's 'cause I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know. I see. Well, let me read it then. Oh, she's got a long one. The bitch. Making me read. And he, on the other side, was looking in. Ooh, that's nice. So, what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten me pretty popular nowadays. That is a lot of poems and being putting emphasis on the time in between each word and line. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say I have some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on too strong. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about this is, if you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. That's it for today, guys. I hope you have a lovely day. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bye!